The worst audience roasts on Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer allows his audience members to participate in a segment of roasts for his guests.
The pink dress. I frequent Taco Bell a lot, and I was just wondering what you ordered that day that got a ring on your finger.
The guests are allowed to give comebacks, but in most cases, they sit back throughout the roasts. Some comments and questions are brutal, and in this video, we have compiled a list of the worst unbelievable roasts.
Since you're a hoe when you sell your panties, is there any chance you can sell some to that girl at the end, who's also a hoe and sells her sister?
Watch until the end to learn from the best. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Let's get it going. 10. The audience members don't care about illnesses and conditions, and it was evident when a man asked a girl with an elastoplast on her knee a harsh question. He said, "I've got a question for the Walmart version of K. Michelle in a black dress. Did you forget your kneecap at home, sweetie?"
Comment for the Walmart version of K. Michelle in the black dress over there. You forget your knee pads at home, sweetie?
Another audience member asked the same lady how she fell in love with someone because they finished each other's sentences.
I love her, but why does that make the guy, why do you love him so much? Just because he finishes your sentences?
She decided to clap back and throw a few shades of her own. Whoa! A guy in spectacles took the show to the break, but that was after he gave his fair share of harsh comments. He told one of the ladies instead of having spiritual connections with another person, she should have a spiritual connection with her checks. The lady with the red hair reminded him of a combination of Pink and 11 from Stranger Things.
The red hair, you remind me of a mixture of Pink and 11 from Stranger Things.
The worst roast was to a girl at the back named Sanjay. He said, "Your name is Sanjay, but it should be sorry because he denied you. Sorry."
Your name is Sanjay, but it should be sorry because he denied you. Sorry.
When the audience members forget the names of the guests, they use anything that comes to mind to point them out. They can use any reference from the way the guest is dressed to how they look. 9. An audience member asked a question for a guy who said everyone in school fell for him. He said, "I have a question for the tablecloth in the back. When you say that everyone in school fell for you, was it an all-boys school?"
You said you were the guy that everyone wanted to be with at school. Was that all boys?
He didn't have a great comeback, but one of the guests went prepared for anything which was thrown her way. A lady tried to throw shade at her hair and her husky voice, but she quickly stood up and furiously defended herself. The next comments were addressed to a short guy on stage. The first man wanted to know how many things Stuart Little broke, which were over 5'6".
Stuart Little over there. I wanted to know how many things he broke in the house that were over 5'6".
He tried to give a comeback by calling the audience member Justin Timberlake, but that's more of a compliment than an insult. The next question was the shadiest of them all. An audience member asked Stuart Little if he needed a ladder to hook up with his girlfriend. The Jerry Springer Show is pretty addictive, and that's why a woman had to make another appearance after 20 years and throw a couple shades. She probably didn't get the applause she anticipated after announcing her return, but that didn't kill her spirit. 8. The woman from 20 years back told one of the guests that she was disgusting, and the lady had a great comeback. She asked the old woman why she had no teeth, and that caused the granny to try and fight her on stage. Hilarious. Unfortunately, they never got to engage in a catfight. The next member asked the girl who slept with her sister's girlfriend to buy new shoes because they could see her toes.
I just want to say you're a dirty hooker because you slept with your sister's girlfriend and worried about your sister's girlfriend. Buy some new shoes because I see your toes.
They may have been destroyed during the catfight earlier, but nobody cared about that. The highlight of the roast was when a lady commented about twins on stage. She said, "I'm confused. Is this Jerry Springer or the Discovery Channel? I could have sworn that all I saw were two hippos fighting." The two ladies genuinely seemed hurt by the harsh comment. Weight can be a sensitive matter when it comes to women. The next comment, who was directed to Red Riding Hood in red, who should have been seducing the big werewolf, but instead she was seducing the cowardly lion. Thanksgiving is a time to celebrate and enjoy a good meal. Well, on the Jerry Springer Show, Thanksgiving is for breakups and food fights. Instead of the food going through people's mouths, it goes all over their bodies. 7. No man wants to be told that he's weak, and a statement from the audience rubbed the guest the wrong way when he suggested that the man couldn't fight. The lady told the big brother that if he wanted to protect his sister, he should learn how to fight. The second question was directed at a gay guy on stage, and he handled the matter pretty well.
My comments for the gay brother. Did you have to use two hands?
The next comment was directed to one of the ladies on stage who had hooked up with her sister's man. A A lady in the audience told her it was wrong for her to take away her niece's father, yet her kids had no dad. The bisexual on the stage wasn't spared, and the question directed at him was too homophobic. An audience member had a question for a lady who still had food on her forehead after the fight earlier. He said, "My question is for the cat lady. Did you leave that food on your head so that your cat could lick it?"
This is for the cat lady. Did you leave that stuff on your forehead so your cat's gonna lick it off?
She was prepared to answer the question and said that her cat loved corn and would eat it off her forehead. Some guests on the show always have a comeback for all comments and questions, even if the comebacks make absolutely no sense. 6. The first question was directed at Jeff. An audience member wanted to know if he likes 1 sausage or 2 sausages for breakfast. Shady. A rapper was also on the show, and she tried to give comebacks for all comments directed at her. A guy with a British accent commented on her, and the rapper asked if he spoke English. His response was on point, because he said, "I am English."
Yeah, my question's for the rapper. Do you only go for clowns? Because apparently he's a clown, but she's Sideshow Bob.
Do you speak English?
The next inappropriate question was directed at Alexis, a transgender, and trusts Jerry to give a comment of his own. A lady in the audience had some shade to throw at the rapper with the comebacks. She asked the rapper how she couldn't notice that her background dancer was gay. She gave a comeback as usual, but the audience member clapped back and told her that the rapper needed to work on her comebacks because they were trash. Ouch. She had another unnecessary comeback up her sleeve, but the show quickly went for a break. Some comments on the roast segments are harsh, but others are rude. For instance, the first comment by a man in the audience. 5. A guest on the show said that she didn't like what she saw when she looked in the mirror in the morning. An audience member told her to get rid of the mirror because it didn't matter what time she looked, she'd still be ugly. It's probably one of the harshest things ever said on the show. Ouch. A transgender lady also had her fair share when a woman told her to stop flipping her hair and hiding her face. Another woman wanted to know whether her oral was better than the other woman's oral. She wasn't the only one addicted to flipping her hair on the show. Another guest on the stage also flipped his hair frequently, and an audience member asked if they could flip their hair together. The trans lady was happy to flip her hair, but the man wasn't into the idea. However, a woman had a question for his girlfriend. She asked, "You gave her $100 to get a haircut and a car wash. Why didn't you get your man a haircut before you came up here?" The next roast segment started with a positive comment before the rest of the audience members unleashed their bad side. It's called the roast section for a reason. 4. An audience member could differentiate between the 9 to 5 girl and the weekend girl, and he wasn't afraid to sing it out loud. Another man had a question for Michael's girlfriend. He asked her if she dressed in the dark because he was sure the dress she wore was supposed to go the other way.
I just got a question for Michael's girlfriend. Did you get dressed in the dark? Because I'm pretty sure that shirt's supposed to go the other way around.
It got better when a guest was compared to Sid from Ice Age, and everyone burst out in uncontrollable laughter. After a confrontation earlier in the show, 2 people were left homeless, and an audience member suggested that they should go home together and give each other company. They seemed pretty salty, but we aren't sure whether it's because of the comment or the fact that they were homeless. The best guests on the show are the ones who can take a roast and laugh about it, and the next guests took the comments lightly and enjoyed the roast segment. 3. A guest on the show boasted that he had 12 children and he could afford to maintain 2 houses. An audience member asked him how he could afford to finance the homes, but he couldn't afford to buy condoms. He explained that he was always busy doing a lot of different things, which was unrelated to the question. The next comment was directed at a girl who had no real hair. A man wanted to know who pulled the hair when she slept with her man. The next one was harsh to the core. One of the guests hooked up with another girl in the car, and an audience member wanted to know whether the other woman couldn't fit into the car.
Sex with him.
In the bed.
Oh, could you not fit in the back of the car?
In other words, he told the lady she was too fat to fit in the backseat of a car. Jerry had a group of university students as part of his audience, and they took the roast segment to another level. 2. The first question was directed to Dre, who fell for a man without knowing. A lady in the audience asked him how he slept with 300 plus women but still fell for a man. He didn't take the question lightly and gave an equally shady answer. Dre told the audience member, "Before today, I would have thought you're a woman, but after that bass in your voice, I have to check you out."
I thought you was a woman, but all that bass in your voice, well, I gotta check.
She definitely never saw that coming. Another audience member had a shade to throw at the big guy on stage. She said, "My comment is for the fat Meek Mill. You call her a nugget, but she looks like a Big McFry." They did a few rounds before Dre got harsher comebacks, and he had a comeback for each of the questions and comments. The first audience member took the show to the break by judging the tone of her voice. The bass in her voice comment rubbed her the wrong way. Well, if anyone wants to avoid a harsh comeback on the show, they should keep their comments to themselves. Guests on the show weren't in luck when they encountered the most raucous audience member ever. They left no stone unturned. I saved the best for last, but first I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it. It really works. Comments and questions for him and the baby mama. One asked, "Why would you leave your baby mama for the DMX and the side chick?" The baby mama wasn't spared at all. A lady in the audience asked her, "Why would you waste your time with this wannabe 2 Chainz?" There was a question for the cowboy guy. "How did it feel to have sex with Michael Jackson?" referring to a transgender woman. No girl wants to get such a comment, especially if they are transgender. The cowboy guy was also asked how he'd leave a BBW to be with a Jack Skeleton in a wig, referring to the transgender woman. They also didn't stop there, but some of the comments are too harsh to mention. Thanks for watching, and have an excellent day.